Hey there, I'm Ken. This is Canadian Retro Things. Welcome. I have driven halfway across Canada. I've gotten out to my cabin, got the place opened up, I'm settled in, so it's time for a road trip. It is 6 a.m. and I am about to hit the road to West Virginia, United States. I'm going to BoatFest 2023. If you don't know what BoatFest 2023 is, then you've come to the right channel. BoatFest is an annual event. This is the second one put on by Boat and Aaron of the Amigos Retro Gaming Live channel. And it's just a little get together where we play video games and have a lot of fun. So it's about a 21-hour drive for me, and I guess it's time to hit the road, so let's go. Couple hours into the trip, and I am now in Thunder Bay, and I'm stopping in to see somebody I haven't seen since VCF Midwest last year, and that is Robin of 8-Bit Show and Tell. I'm about to have coffee with him.
Hi, it's Robin. Enjoying some McDonald's coffee with Ken from Canadian Retro Things.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
And here I am at the border crossing, and there is a bit of a lineup, definitely a lot more of a lineup than there was when I went to VCF this way last year. And I am through the border. Interestingly enough, that was the most I've been grilled going down to any of these retro shows. But, yeah, it all went smoothly. Just a few more questions than usual. Last time I went through that check stop, I actually talked to the guy about retro computers for 5 or 10 minutes, but it was very quiet. Since a big chunk of metal fell off the back of a semi in front of me, and I did partially hit it, I had to pull into a rest stop here on the shores of Lake Superior to make sure my car was okay. Well, so far, doesn't seem to be any problems, so I couldn't see anything wrong. So I'm taking a nice little picture, and now I'm getting back on the road. The sun is setting behind me as I'm driving just west of Chicago right now. I'm taking a roundabout way going around Chicago, although my phone every couple of minutes keeps trying to reroute me through downtown Chicago. And anybody that's ever driven in Chicago knows that you don't save any time going through downtown Chicago, and my phone is saying it will save me 8 minutes by taking a route that's going to take me probably an additional hour and a half to 2 hours because of the traffic. And here it is, the middle of the night, and I am going through more construction, and it is about 3/4 done this trip. And I'm thinking in a little bit, I'm going to find a rest stop and take a nap for a little while. A couple hours anyway. I've had a little nap, and I'm back on the road. I'm currently driving around Indianapolis at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it is a foggy, misty, smoky morning. I mean, who can tell which it is nowadays? And I am currently driving through Cincinnati. And I specifically chose this route, even though I'm doing this kind of at morning rush hour, early rush hour. I'm going to contend with it because I'm doing this route. I'm in Cincinnati for one specific reason, and that is so I can quote the greatest line ever spoken in a TV show or movie. Now, the hint is that I'm in Cincinnati. If you think you know what that line is, then pause the video here and put it in the comments. And that line, of course, is, "As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. Now, there are some people that will disagree with me on that being the greatest line ever spoken, but, well, they're just wrong. If you haven't seen that episode of course, WKRP, you should watch it. I'm here in Hurricane, checked into the hotel, showered, changed, ready to go to BoatFest. So, hey, let's go! Friday morning in downtown Hurricane, West Virginia is quiet. It reminds me of the small towns I've lived in, although they were somewhat smaller than here. The first few hours of the fest were spent setting up equipment, which I did not have to do as I didn't bring anything. I knew beforehand that there would be a small contingent of Canadians at the show, but what I did not expect was a couple of people from the UK and one from Australia. This was truly an international event. The mayor of Hurricane even dropped by to say hi and talk about the computers and games he had in his younger years. As for what was at the show, there was a lot. We had not one, but 3 Commodore SX64s, something I had not seen in real life. Another thing that was a first for me was the ZX Spectrum Next, as well as an Amiga with a video toaster setup. There was a Naboo setup to play with, as well as a BBC Master and a Tandy Model 102. The Model 102 had some surprisingly good games to play. I had heard about them, but this was the first time seeing them in action. Other systems included an Atari ST, Commodore 64, and an Apple II. There were others, both modern and retro, that came and went over the weekend that I was having way too much fun playing, and, well, I forgot to get footage of. There was also a couple of tables filled with items for the auction. These tables filled up more and more until it was finally time for the bidding to start. I had given myself a set amount of money I was allowing myself to spend. And I spent more than double my limit. Who needs food for the trip home anyway? Over the weekend, the Amigos filmed a few episodes of some of their shows, which was an absolute blast to be in the audience for. It was fun seeing them in person, as normally I only see the shows being done live on Twitch. Check out the description for a link to their Twitch channel. By the end, I think Boat and Aaron were worn out. Alas, all good things must come to an end, and end they did on Sunday morning. Everything was packed up, and a number of people hit the road heading home. But the fun was not over for everyone. Those of us left went to Huntington, a town about 20 miles away, and met up at the Old North Arcade. This is a place I wish I had near where I live. It's an arcade where all of the video games are free to play. Pinball costs money, and they serve drinks. I could have spent a week in this place, but I finally had to leave around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm back on the highway for my long trip back to my cabin. I'm just leaving Huntington, West Virginia. I discovered something interesting. Now you'll remember from my trip out here that I had planned a route completely avoiding downtown Chicago, and I planned that same route for the way back. Now, on the trip up, my phone kept saying it had a faster route through downtown Chicago, and I kept saying no, I did not want to take it. Well, this time my AI of my phone decided that it was smarter than me, and it changed my route on me without asking, and is sending me into downtown Chicago. I've gone too far into the route towards downtown Chicago to turn around and take the other route, because that would just be a waste of time. So I am going through downtown Chicago. The saving grace, it's going to be late evening on a Sunday night. Right now, my ETA for getting to the cabin is 10:58 a.m. tomorrow morning. Well, here we go. It looks like we're back on a freeway. And my estimated time of arrival is now 11:45, which means I've lost about 50 minutes. Now, full disclosure, I did stop at a gas station, and I will overestimate the time that I spent there at 20 minutes, which means I have lost 30 minutes. And this route, the other route, was supposed to be 20 minutes longer, which means this route was still 10 minutes longer. And the stress of driving through downtown Chicago at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night was still about 700% higher than the other route. So, my phone is stupid. So here I am at the Canadian border. I'll let you know how everything goes after I get through the other side. And my border crossing went as smooth as butter. No problems there at all. So, yeah, all is good. I am on my way back to the cabin. About 2.5 hours more and I'll be there. 2 hours, 45 minutes around there. All right. Let you know when I get there. Well, it wouldn't be me going somewhere on a trip without a near miss. This time it was some idiot trying to pass 4 or 5 different vehicles on a corner, double yellow line, going uphill. Luckily, I saw him in time to slam on my brakes and get over onto the shoulder so that I didn't hit him head on. And here we are. I'm home. Well, there we go. That was my adventure going to BoatFest this year. That's 4,100 kilometers over 5 days from my cabin in northwestern Ontario down to Hurricane, West Virginia, and back. I guess the next thing I have to do is make a video about all the things I picked up at the BoatFest. But I'm going to end this video now, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, the commenting below, because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. Until the next video, see ya.